Hey friends, Dr. Christy here, and I had a couple of conversations today with some patients around food cravings, and I really wanted to share some of this with you today. It was so interesting to me. So, first off, there's this big movement, I would say, somewhat recently in the last several years, around intuitive eating. Now, first off, I'm a huge proponent of this. I believe that intuitively, if we really look within and we really know our bodies well and tune in and have that level of self-awareness, we know what our bodies need on every single level. However, that's if you're balanced and healthy and you know yourself well enough to allow yourself those cues and that understanding. Not everybody's at that level yet. So before we jump into let's go intuitive route, I want to back out and see what a couple things mean, because let's face it this way. You might be an intuitive eater and say, well, I just want chocolate. My body needs chocolate, so I'm going to give it some chocolate. Well, what does that mean? Oftentimes, specifically a chocolate craving could indicate a need for magnesium. If you are specifically deficient in something, your body will give you cues. And sometimes the cues, as we've talked about before, our body doesn't communicate in English, it communicates in its own way. And so if it's communicating with you with a chocolate craving and it just needs magnesium, it's not going to tell you, hey, I need magnesium. It can't tell you that. It's going to communicate with you based on the cravings it's providing. So you get to read between the lines and figure out what your body's actually saying when it tells you what you're craving. So chocolate and magnesium is a very obvious and easy one. During one of my pregnancies, I was craving pizza like crazy. Now, don't get me wrong, I did indulge and have myself some pizza every now and then. But I could have eaten it every single day. And I chose not to because it wouldn't have been healthy for me or the growing baby that I was, manufacturing at the time. So what does pizza represent? To me, it meant salt and fat. So what could I have consumed that could be providing my body what it needs, but in a healthy way? After I had that realization, I had a bunch of Greek olives and craving for pizza was gone. So if you supply your body what it needs, the cravings will disappear. Oftentimes a craving of sugar in general is just a need for water. Sometimes you're just dehydrated, or sometimes it just means that your blood sugar is in balance, and sugar is the first thing that will help it or make it as balanced as possible, even though that's not necessarily what you want. So keep this in mind as you're trying to understand your body's cues, because your body's brilliant and it's telling you exactly what it needs. But sometimes you got to dig a little bit deeper and find out what it's trying to say. So my big ones are chocolate and magnesium, pizza, salt versus fat, and then of course any sugar cravings. It could be a need for water, or it could just be a need for food in general. It could be a need for protein or fat, something to stabilize your blood sugar because your blood sugar has crashed. Those are my quick tips for the day. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you soon.